wagon quietly into the driveway. Just a few more weeks left on your tenure over there at the View. No, you got to dust it up with little Hasselbeck. Who, by the way, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, I think, came off very well in this whole thing. She's the winner. Yeah. But it is goodbye to Rosie, and don't believe these nice statements we're getting out of Barbara Walters this morning saying she was great for the show and we wish her well and everything's happy. They mean about as much as the statements that Rosie was going to come back over the next couple of years and going to do some specials. They have parted ways now officially and quite obviously over the remarks that these two on your screen shared on Wednesday. On Thursday, Rosie took the day off. It was supposedly a scheduled day off. On Friday, they ran a repeat. So next week, we are Rosie-less until they find a replacement. Kathy Griffin, the comic, said to be the front runner at this point. And an interesting challenge from our own Bill O'Reilly on all of this. He said on his program, if this woman gets a job someplace else and decides to offend our troops or talk about 9/11 as having been something that our government perpetuated, that he will put the sponsors of those programs on the television screen and ask them to be boycotted. So what we will hear from Rosie O'Donnell is yet to be determined. Some saying she will have a career after this if she wants to.
But, you know, I got to interrupt because you actually knew her and you did stand-up with her, and everyone is forgetting now how funny Rosie O'Donnell is.
She was funny.
She was funny.
She had, however, an edge, even in the beginning, even back 20, 25 years ago, and was a little cantankerous and a little difficult to work with for some of the other comedians.
It wasn't my experience.
A slight diva quality. She had that. In stand-up, when you're a woman trying to break in, it's a little tougher. It was then, even more so than now. And so she had that armor on. She wasn't out of the closet, so she wasn't doing that kind of material. But she took a lot of her comedian friends with her when she began her own talk show, and one by one they fell by the wayside. Something like a dozen different executive producers went through there, including some very close friends of hers. So
I mean, how much does it take to produce that show? 4 women just dishing dish. What's the big deal? Why do they? What's that all about?
Well, look,
they got to manage personalities.
They had lightning in a bottle in her, but as Donald Trump pointed out, she wears her welcome out. She wears the public enjoys her in small doses. But after a while, she wears out her welcome.
Kind of like Donald.
Yeah, but remember how everybody was so crazy about her? I still think it was a brilliant move to have her on The View because it made The View worth watching again. And Elizabeth Hasselbeck should be sending her flowers every week because she made Elizabeth Hasselbeck's career.
But remember all of this discussion about...
I don't know if Elizabeth would agree with that.
Elizabeth and Rosie are friends, that their kids play together, and that they have all these play dates, that they're secretly behind the scenes, they love it. Not true, according to my sources. And also, it's I think important to point out that this is sort of a real rocky point for the View. They've got to make some decisions casting-wise. Hasselbeck is leaving for a pregnancy.
Phil, you look tan, rested, and ready. Yeah, I know you're a Cape Cod. Another guy who takes a lot of time off is Rick Reichmuth. He is tan, rested. He goes to exotic locales. I think he just got back from Mexico.
Buenos dias, Rick.
I mean.